Good morning everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good because it's good to feel good. It's the one day that I never look forward to when I'm on my travels, and that is the go home day, because that is what I'm just about to do. But I'll tell you what's nice to think about is this time yesterday morning I was sat watching the sunrise in Wadi Rum, and now I'm watching the sunrise here in Oman, knowing this will be the last time I see it in Jordan for the foreseeable future. And when I say that, as much as, I will say I would not rule out going to insert country name here, in the future, I definitely would love to come back to Jordan in the future. My thinking is, if I could come back to Jordan and relive everything that I've done in these last few days, I would happily do it in a heartbeat. So that's how much I've enjoyed this trip, and that's why I know all the memories I've made on this trip are all gonna start hitting me hard as soon as I get home later. But yeah, it's home time, and I've got my pickup just about to arrive at my hotel, and yeah. So I guess without further ado, let's get going. Let's head home, and let's reminisce on how great my time in Jordan has been. I tell you what, I'm just gonna little focus on this for a little bit. I've left a little note there as well as a nice little cheeky plug as a PS there. As I've said throughout much of these vlogs, I've really enjoyed the hospitality of the Jordanian people. They've made me feel really welcome, and it's just lovely to meet some really kind and friendly people. That's what I love, and we need more of these people in the world, and we and free of all sorts of hatred and bigotry. We need these kind and compassionate people. Okay, I guess without further ado, let's get going, but I thought I'd just say goodbye to my lovely hotel room. You've been very wonderful these last few days, but yeah, let's get going. Okay, I've just made it to the Queen Alia International Airport, and I'll be quite honest, the airport, before departing, is not the place where you want to be. So, I'd much rather just be coming out of arrivals and just arriving in the country again, but hey ho, we've got to head back. Also, I need to go check in as well. For some strange reason, Royal Jordanian wouldn't allow me to check in for my flight online, which is weird because they allow me to check in for my flight coming out to Jordan, but hey ho, let's go in, let's check in. I tell you what, I'm normally quite good with airport security, and if I need something to be checked, i.e. my laptop or anything, I'm more than happy to just do that and let that be as such. But I don't know what it was, but I'm not gonna lie, they really took a little issue with me, and it really stressed me out, it did. I had, things that needed to be inspected and stuff, but then it was just then I put all my stuff over there, and it's just okay, you're good to go. But then they were just pointing at me, and then I was like, no, stay. And I'm they just didn't make up their bloody mind what they wanted to do with me, and not cool. And especially as someone who can get easily overwhelmed, that's not ideal. Not cool. I'll tell you what, after that little experience at security, I wouldn't mind having a shot of one of these. It's not every day that you get to have a McDonald's meal for breakfast. Now, I'm just starving, and I tell you what, whenever I do travel, the most times out of 10, I will go for some fast food, it's like a McDonald's or whatever. I've actually resisted the urge on this trip to actually do any fast food, so I've been relying on when I've been out for meals, and all sorts. So we've done pretty well on that regard. Also, another thing that I've noticed is I love how in some airports, a lot of the architecture is based around the culture and architecture of the country itself. I've noticed looking at the roof of the airport, it looks like a traditional Bedouin tent, which obviously of course honours Jordan's heritage very much. So yeah, I quite like that. And I think there's quite a lot of lovely airports that follow that similar vibe as well.
Okay, so I've got a little bit of downtime here in the airport and also just testing out this new microphone as well. So, hello. I don't know why I did that, but anyway, just only this could happen as I'm starting to record this little bit and there's a Tannoy announcement here in the airport. So something that I would personally recommend purchasing if you're going to be traveling to Jordan anytime soon, and what I would normally recommend for say like 4 or more days, is purchasing something called the Jordan Pass. So for just 70 dinars, it comes with some really cool perks. So the first one is that it waives your entry fees on arrival for a visa. So if you're entering Jordan without the Jordan Pass, then you're going to be paying 40 dinars for a visa on arrival. And then in addition to that, as part of the whole tourism board here in Jordan, they're also allowing you to use it for like so many tourist attractions here in Jordan. So everything that I've done over the last few days has all been included. I mean, obviously there's a few bits that maybe I have to pay fees for, but for the most part, every tourist attraction that I've gone to has been without having to pay any entry fees. So for example, you get your fees waived on Petra, Wadi Rum, Jarash, Ajloon, Qais, all of that waived if you purchase the Jordan Pass. So if this is encouraging you to purchase the Jordan Pass, then yeah, go for it.
It's that depressing part of the travels now where the blues start to kick in, the sad music starts to play, and I go home feeling really depressed. What a lovely time it's been in Jordan, I'm not gonna lie. And I definitely, as I said earlier, definitely thinking of coming back again. Okay, so we sat down on the flight, all the lovely stuff. Again, nobody wants to go home. If I could have it in my power to stay here a bit longer, definitely would do. But calling a bit of an extended sickie at work or something, although I might get in trouble for that, so probably not worth taking the risk. Anyway, we've got a nice window seat again. We've got right by the wing, and we should get some really lovely vantage points at this flight. So I guess, without further ado, I'll see you when we land back at Stansted. Peace. I don't know if it's just me or if I'm feeling a bit depressed or it's the fact that I'm at Stansted Airport, whichever is worse, I guess. But anyway, we've just landed back at Stansted. We've actually arrived on schedule, which is actually pretty cool. I tell you what I do want to just quickly shout out, it's the flight attendants on that Royal Jordanian flight we've just taken. So basically, I don't know what exactly happened, but there was an altercation between 2 passengers, and I think one of the passengers was like with their like heavily pregnant wife and their young child, and I'm not quite sure what happened, but the flight attendants were so quick to just like get in there and, you know, diffuse the tension and, you know, manage to get them both separated. So absolutely fair play to that for diffusing that tension. The last thing you want is, like, you know, to be on like be in some kind of altercation and, you know, you get diverted to somewhere where you don't want to go, but we managed to get diffused in the air, so we're good on that. Very well done. That was actually quite efficient here at arrival at Stansted Airport. It's definitely better than the last time I was here, but we did nicely there. Anyway, I've got some downtime. I've got treat myself to a Costa, because here's the thing.
My onward travel from King's Cross is not until 6 o'clock, i.e. the train that I've booked. Now, the reason why I book things so late and like deliberately is in case I encounter like any delays or cancellations, then at least I've got like an hour to play around with in case that happens. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, train's running as normal today, and as an added bonus, I've managed to get myself upgraded on this train as well to first class. So what I was doing this morning in Amman, I was checking on Seatfrog to see if there's any upgrades available. I put in a bid, and then sure enough, I just get a notification just a second later, and it's like, instant winner, congratulations. And I'm like, I got my first class seat again. So that's going to be really nice to experience. And on that note, what I'll do is once I get to King's Cross is I'll check out the first class lounge, because I've never actually been in that lounge before. I'm sure it'll be lovely nonetheless when we get there. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy my Costa, then get on the train from Stansted to Liverpool Street, on to King's Cross, and check out that first class lounge. Alright, I've just made it to King's Cross, and as I say, it's plenty of time here, about an hour and a half until my actual train. So what I'm going to do, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to take advantage of the first class lounge. Again, it's one of those experiences, it's like, maybe not necessarily once in a lifetime, but it's nice to experience it nonetheless. So let's go and enjoy. Alright, so, this is going to sound weird without context. I've just come to the loo in the first class lounge, and there's this window that overlooks the station. So, how cool is this? I guess you could say it's a loo with a view. Okay, we made it to the train. We're in first class. Love and life. I'll see you when I get home. Okay, I've just made it off the train at Darlington. My mum has kindly gone out of her way to come pick me up, so I'm gonna go find her and love our lovely reunion hug. There she is! Hello!
Oh, hello, my darling.
Hello, hello. Oh,
We've got to rush. We've got 3 minutes.
Let's go, let's go. Right, who's that? Who's that? Hello? Hey, 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 Dory, 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 look, Dory, look at it, look at it. You're more concerned with Mum, but it's... Dory, chill, Dory, chill. Hey, Dory, hello, hey, Dory. No, she's more, I love how she's more focused on Mum. Dory, who's this? Dory, Dory, who's this? And just like that, I am home. I am back in my bedroom. I have missed this bed so much. And my body's aching a little bit as well. But that's besides the point. We are home. And I guess let's wrap this up and put this to bed, shall we? So here we are, at the end of these vlogs. And just looking back on all of this last week in Jordan has just been wonderful. I don't know how to put it into words, just like how lovely this trip has been. Like, you know, the people that I've met and, you know, the memories I've created. Like, you know, these memories are going to just last with me forever. But one thing I do particularly want to focus on, and it's getting me a little bit emotional just thinking about it, is how lovely the hospitality has been this last week from all sorts of people that I've met. And what's really nice is, like, you know, I'm, you know, coming to Jordan, I'm this complete outsider, this, you know, this white non-Muslim guy just coming to the country and just, you know, immersing himself in the culture and everything. It's been really nice. Everyone has just been so kind and caring and friendly. And, you know, it's been great to have, like, these open conversations with people, and that's what we need more of in the world. Like, you know, in this day and age, there's a lot of, like, you know, hatred and bigotry out there, when, you know, we need to be looking at, like, shining examples of people who are, like, kind, caring, compassionate, friendly. And, you know, shout out to some of the people that I'm going to mention here. Khalid and Ash from the hotel that I stayed in Amman, the Hotel Beirut. They were like some of the receptionists, and I got to chat with them a few times. They were lovely and made me feel very welcome. My driver Zaid, who I had, you know, doing Umkais, Ajlun and Jarash, you know, driving me all over the place, and, you know, the conversations that we had as well, I really enjoyed them. Umjad, my guide at Umkais, was so lovely. You know, he's got such a great sense of humour and all sorts, and who else to shout out? And Qutayba as well, our driver for Petra and Wadi Rum and the Dead Sea, you know, driving us, like, you know, here and there, and, you know, going out of his way to just make us feel like, you know, very welcome in the country. And it's just been wonderful, and I genuinely could not ask for a better first time experience. And I know that might sound a bit cliche when I mention that, but I've genuinely really enjoyed this experience. I don't usually cry like this, but it's some of these experiences that I have, you know, get you right in the feels, and it's just been wonderful. If you want to go to, like, you know, someone that's really, like, out, like, you know, diverse and kind of out, like, you know, out of the ordinary for travelling, I would definitely recommend going to Jordan. But yeah, I'm gonna end off here because it's been a lovely trip, and I'm just gonna continue crying just talking about this, but it's been wonderful. Jordan has, and yeah, I definitely want to go back in the future because it's been incredible. But anyway, I'm gonna sign off here. I don't know when my next adventure will be, but I'm sure I'll keep you guys in the loop with what I get up to. So, as per usual, I'm going to sign off here and leave you guys with some advice. That is always to enjoy yourself, stay safe, and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. Thank you for watching, and peace.